Hi, David Pogue here, and I really don't want to ruin your Sunday, but we have to talk about gerrymandering. Remember when you learned about democracy in school?
One person, one vote, meaning that everyone's vote is as important as everyone else's.
Once every 10 years, state legislatures redraw their voting district maps to reflect any new information in the latest census. Gerrymandering is when they redraw those maps to gain political advantage. Instead of voters choosing their representatives, the representatives choose their voters. And gerrymandering played a big role in this past week's midterms.
DeSantis heavy gerrymandered all of Florida.
Democrats got very greedy in trying to gerrymander New York's maps.
Suppose 15 people live in this state. Now, if your voting districts are simple boxes, then the mauve people will win all 3 districts and you'll send 3 mauves to the House of Representatives, which doesn't seem quite fair to the orange people. So if you adjust the boundaries like this, then 1 orange person gets elected. But it's also possible to get really ruthless with your redistricting software. You can make it, if you're sneaky, so that 2 orange reps go to Washington. Now you can see why so many voting districts have really wacky shapes.
The problem is politicians don't like to change the rules that got them in power. That's the biggest barrier.
Alex Kina teaches political science at Virginia Commonwealth University, and he's the co-author of 2 books about gerrymandering.
Do Republicans and Democrats gerrymander equally?
No, we studied 48 states, just the state legislative maps, and we found that there were 44 gerrymanders, and 42 of those were Republican.
But that's not necessarily because one party is more unscrupulous than the other.
Now, Republicans and Democrats alike are trying to gerrymander if they can. Democrats just have fewer chances to do that. Republicans happen to control more state government than Democrats do, but it's also geography. Democrats want to live in cities. They're all clustered in one area. They're packing themselves for the Republicans.
Now, the Voting Rights Act of 1965 makes it illegal to define a district that deprives a racial group of representation. But following the 2020 census, Alabama drew maps that struck critics as an attempt to cram black voters into a single district. A district court threw out the new maps, but the Supreme Court reinstated them. With 4 months until the primary elections, the Supreme Court said there wasn't enough time to make a change like that they'd consider it after the election. The gerrymanders stayed.
But they've essentially said, probably partisan gerrymandering is unconstitutional, but there's nothing we can do about it.
In the end, in the midterms, 4 states wound up using maps that judges had declared illegal.
It's hard not to get upset. You want to see a country that is free and fair and democratic.
But it's not all over yet. A bunch of states have taken the right to draw maps away from politicians and given it to independent commissions.
What's clear is that when politicians are drawing the line, then we see partisan gerrymandering. But when citizens draw the maps, we see a lot less shenanigans.
And Alex Kina points out that pendulums do swing back, eventually. But it seems like, okay, now we have a conservative-leaning Supreme Court. Of course, they're not going to do anything.
Eventually, people die. And eventually, people retire, and the court changes. All that means is it takes a long time.